everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and today we are back with another mukbang. Woo! Okay, I don't know if you guys can tell, but welcome to the Biz Kitchen. This is where all the cooking happens. I mean, it looks like a professional setup. I'm pretty sure that I cooked the spicy rice cakes on this. Oh, it's hot. Do you like it? Please let me know in the comments. We worked really hard on this. Today we've got these delicious square baked bowls that are just filled with brie. The only thing inside of it is pretty much bread and cheese. Then on here we've got these long spicy rice cakes covered in this spicy sauce. These are little shrimp toasts. I didn't know that you could buy these frozen. I thought you had to make them, but they sell them frozen at H Mart. You throw them into the air fryer, take them out after 20 minutes, and it looks like a giant crouton. With that being said, I just want to say thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. As you can tell, I'm a little bit unhinged. I'm just kidding, okay? I used to do this thing though, where throughout the week, something would happen and I would go into my little notes app on my phone and I had this compiled list of all the things that I wanted to talk to my therapist about. But by the time that I get there for my in-person session, I'm like, you know what? I pull up the list and I'm like, I don't really want to, it's not that big of a deal anymore. Whatever, who cares anymore? But with BetterHelp, it's so much better for me because I can log into my account at any time, send a message to my therapist, and I like that I can send my emotions right when something is happening. So later we can actually go back during our scheduled weekly video or phone sessions and talk about, okay, why did you phrase it like this? Why did you feel this emotion immediately? Like, what was that feeling like in the heat of the moment? I think it's so beneficial for me. And if you guys don't already know, BetterHelp is professional therapy done securely online. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. BetterHelp will actually assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist that you can start communicating with in under 48 hours. And I just love the way that it works. Like the fact that I get thoughtful and timely responses and I can schedule video or phone sessions and not have to sit in like a uncomfortable traditional waiting room. I love it. On top of that, it's available to clients worldwide. So, I mean, if you're traveling, if you're moving around, if you're going out of state for school or to visit friends, that's like the most stressful time in your life where maybe you do need to talk to your therapist, okay? So BetterHelp is all about facilitating great therapeutic matches. They make it easy and free to change therapists if needed, and they have a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 therapist network, which may not be locally available in some areas. It's even more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. So BetterHelp wants you guys to start living a happier life today. Visit betterhelp.com/Stephanie Sue. That's better, H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people that are taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And you guys can actually get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Stephanie Sue just for being a listener of our channel. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/Stephanie Sue. And thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Okay, I'm just gonna break into it. Do I just rip it? Do I just cut it? What do I do?
I think you should do it gently.
Gently?
Yeah.
That's not in my vocabulary. It's a block.
It's a square.
You know my... let's try this, okay?
How do we try it?
I'm gonna actually grab... just... Am I really gonna manhandle it and just... This whole thing is turning into... Ooh, it's like a log. It's a... Okay.
How's the cheese?
Oh my god. I just had all cheese.
Oh, this bread doesn't break easily.
Amazing. I feel like I could build a fucking house out of this bread. Okay, I've got the bread. Let me grab some cheese with the bread. Is it stinky?
So brie cheese tastes like mango's breath. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know if I can eat this. I'm sorry.
Eat this right now. Don't hesitate. Don't even wait. Don't save it. Eat this right now. Inside, the shrimp is so fluffy. It's airy. The outside is toasty like a crouton. Okay, so we've got brie cheese. I I love a stinky cheese.
I love when the cheese stinks so much, it just opens up my nostrils.
Okay, what is the weirdest thing that you've ever found in someone else's house? Maybe it was by accident. Maybe you're a little snooper. What is your law on going to someone else's house? Do you open one cabinet, two cabinets, no cabinets? Yes, so I asked him the other day. And I'm actually going to be saving the best story for last because it's super graphic. But just know that it involves a knife of sorts. And it just wouldn't be appropriate to do it with food. You just never know. Anyway, I asked my fiance. And he looks at me and he goes, the weirdest thing I found in someone else. Oh my God. One time, I found hentai porn in my cousin's house. And I fucking gagged. I was like, porn? You found the porn? What happened? I want to know the location. I feel like location is very, very revealing.
It's on the computer. It was just on his computer that he shares with his mother.
Like saved file or?
Yeah, download it, of course. I think I was 13. He was 15. I watch it all. I'm just kidding. Like, I wonder when were people introduced to that kind of stuff? Where I grew up, like, I didn't have internet access until middle school. Even after middle school, I was always supervised with my computer usage.
I feel like earlier and earlier, because all you have to do is press the yes, I'm above 18. I remember pressing that a lot when I was not 18. Don't come arrest me, FBI, but I mean, who's gonna know? There was a Reddit thread that I read about a guy who had gone into like a friend's house. Let's say he was 10 at the time, and he didn't know that this was weird, but the parents would actively watch porn in front of the kids.
What?
Yes. So then he comes home and he tells his mom everything, and he was never allowed back. I mean, you just never know. Maybe you know your friend, but do you really know their family until you sleep over? It's like, I think that's why I'm kind of on the belief of like, I understand and I totally get it and I totally respect people who don't want to live together until they're married. But because of the things that I have found out about people after one sleepover, I'm like a firm believer. I feel like that's when you learn everything. You learn the family routine, their family dynamic. Do their parents hate each other? Do they hate each other blatantly? Or do they, trying to keep it a secret from the kids? Do the siblings not get along? What are the weird things that they do? And today we're exposing a ton of people's childhood secrets. Things that they saw in other people's houses that threw them off. Some of them are not normal. Some of them are really gross. And what is the weirdest thing that you've seen? I didn't know that this was weird at the time, but one of my friends, her mom was a hoarder. And I didn't know what hoarding was growing up. I actually loved going to her house because it was fun. So every single room in her house, including her living room. Okay, so her living room was a little bit different. She would have like couches. She would have a little bit of, empty space with all of her toys that we would play with. But every single wall of that house, there was another wall of clothing, of blankets, of like boxes and bins just stacked up to the ceiling. Every single bedroom in her house, there was no empty space. Like anywhere, just clothes stacked all the way to the top. We were allowed to climb on the clothes, so we would make these little makeshift beds and chairs out of it. So we would climb up, and imagine you're sitting near the ceiling and you're 6 years old. This is exhilarating. This is like doing a line of cocaine. It's like the most adrenaline that you've ever felt in your freaking life. And we would just lay there, and she would always have these little star stickers in every room on the ceiling.
This is you?
Yes, I went to a friend's house.
Okay.
And I had no idea. We would always play dress up because we found all these random things in the little piles. I thought she just had a fun mom. I had no idea, which by the way, her mom is fun and an amazing woman, but I didn't know it was hoarding at the time. I just thought it was like a sense of style, just a little bit different from other people's houses.
When did you find out?
Like recently. Like recently I'm researching crime scene cleanups, and then, hoarding cleanups came up where you can hire professionals to clean your hoarded house. And I was like, oh, it's a disease. I didn't know. Yeah. I guess like there are some shows on it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to glamorize hoarding because obviously it's a condition that can ruin people's lives. But I just remember it was like the funnest part of my life was going to her house, and she had so many toys everywhere. So anyways, okay, this one is short, but it's terrifying, and I don't know why this happened, and I don't know what the premise of this was. But a Redditor said, and we'll call her Tracy. Tracy went to a sleepover at a girl's house, and her mom starts obsessively taking pictures of them all night long. Now you're thinking, a mom that just wants to preserve memories, that wants to have all of these pictures for one day when her little daughter grows up, she can make an album. But she wasn't taking photos on her phone. She was doing it with a full-on heavy-duty DSLR camera. When they were watching a movie, when they were eating dinner, eating snacks, pictures everywhere. Just click, 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 click. When Tracy's friend, the daughter, fell asleep during said movie, the mom would just come and click away on this fancy camera of hers, getting pictures of her sleeping. She even recorded a 5-minute video of her daughter sleeping. So the original poster, Tracy, is just kind of off to the side like, this is really bizarre, but I don't want to say anything because I'm like 6 years old. I don't know how to handle all of this. This is just getting weird. Finally, it's time to go to bed. She's really thankful for this. They're all laying on the bedroom floor, and she's kind of a kid that has trouble sleeping. So she can't really knock out, but her friend's knocked out, right? And she's just staring at the wall. And she starts hearing some door creaks, some footsteps. And then all of a sudden, the biggest flash in the world consumes the entire room. The room lights up. She shoots up because she's like, is that a lightning strike? Am I getting obliterated? She shoots up, looks at the door, and her friend's mom is standing there taking flash photography of them sleeping. They make eye contact. She closes the door quietly and just walks away. So Tracy looks at the time. It's 3 a.m. Either her friend's mom had an alarm set at 3 a.m, or she doesn't sleep, or maybe she was waiting for them to fall asleep. Either way, what does that even mean? So a lot of people started commenting on the Reddit post, and they're like, okay, well, let's try to dissect this. Some people thought that it was really about keeping memories. Maybe the mom had some previous trauma where a previous child of hers had passed, or she didn't have enough pictures of her own childhood, some sort of trauma. So she panicked and she wanted to make sure to keep all of these memories with this, child of hers, which I guess it kind of satisfies the dinner and the movie thing, but why are you taking pictures of them at 3 a.m? To me, that doesn't make sense. I would feel, okay, sure, we can be sympathetic to the mom, but imagine you were the mom of Tracy, and your daughter comes home and is like, hey mom, guess what happened? When I was at her house, oh yeah, they were taking DSLR photos of me in the middle of the night with my jammies on, with my PJs on.
No, this is some dark stuff.
Yeah,
Nobody
feel like
think it's sketchy?
Nobody! And this is because it wasn't on any of the true crime threads. It wasn't on true crime, unresolved, any of that.
It's just weird.
Just like weird stuff, like quirky things. Quirky tings.
Huh.
Are these not amazing?
It's the best.
I'd be freaked out. I hate sleepovers for that very reason. I'm always the last person to fall asleep. It's weird because I'm always the first person to fall asleep between us. But when there's more people involved, I feel anxious. So then I can't sleep. My thing is, what if I fall asleep and let out a toot before other people have fallen?
I don't think you fart when you sleep, do you?
Bro, you fart when you...
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes.
No way.
I believe it's a scientific thing where you fart like 10 times a night at least. That's why they said it's really bad to sleep without underwear. Because fecal matter gets everywhere on your bed sheets. Not like actual dingleberries, but when you toot, there's fecal matter. That's why you wear underwear, to catch it. Do we need some underwear for our dogs? Because they be under the covers farting it up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's disgusting. This one I think you're gonna have a toot with. There was this Redditor, let's call him Ben. When Ben was 12 and his close friend asked him, hey, wanna sleep over? Okay, sounds great. He was excited. Ben's friend lived in this nice big house in the upper class neighborhood. Family's wealthy. They probably had a trampoline, all of that. Now, Ben isn't wealthy, so he doesn't come from this type of neighborhood with all these big mansions and all these big green grass lawns. He's just excited, he's stoked, and he can hang out with his best friend. Anyway, the point is, the family refused to feed Ben. Okay, so for example, you sleep over, nighttime rolls around. The friend's dad approaches Ben and tells him, hey, why don't you go wait upstairs while we have dinner? It's dinner time.
What?
You stay up there. Do you want something to drink? What do you want? We have Coke, we've got lemonade. What are you feeling? All right, Coke, I'll bring it up to you. And Ben, being 12, he didn't know what to think, so he just did as he was told. He's sitting there drinking his own lemonade, playing Nintendo upstairs, while his friend and their entire family is having dinner. So his friend comes up and he's like, God, I'm so hungry. Please, do you have like any chips? And you would think that the friend would say, oh, sorry, like my dad is just really like crazy about dinner time. He doesn't let anyone come over and it's just like a thing. Maybe it's like a religious thing. I don't know, right? The friend thought it was annoying that Ben is asking for food. So he sneaks downstairs, brings him a can of tuna without the can opener. What do you want me to do with this? And Ben sat there with a butter knife trying to get it open for like 2 hours, eats canned tuna for dinner. Then it gets even weirder. The whole family never turned on the heat when it's freezing cold outside. They lived in a cold ass state. They forced Ben to sleep on the floor. Which, okay, I don't know. Here's how I was raised. My mom, if my friends ever slept over, either we're all sleeping on the floor, like not my mom, but like me and all my friends, or they're sleeping on the bed with me, or somebody's, like my sister is out sleeping over somewhere else, so they're sleeping on my sister's bed. But I just never had a situation where I was on the bed and my friends on the floor. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure maybe if you have like really cushiony floor mattresses or maybe like a really nice sleeping bag, but not this family. They just gave him like a flimsy little towel blanket. So he's freezing on the floor and he keeps waking. He can't even fall asleep. So he wakes up his friend. Hello, I'm freezing. Can I get some extra blankets? His friend gets out of bed, wakes up his dad, and his dad walks in with just a handful of blankets, throws them onto the ground, doesn't say a word, and walks away. So this is weird, right?
Yeah.
The next morning, they wake up after a horrible night of the cold. Ben's stomach is rumbling. It's a grumbling. He's hungry. And everybody else is eating breakfast but him. There wasn't even a chair for him to sit at the breakfast table. It was exactly the number of people in the family. So he's literally downstairs. They don't tell him to go upstairs this time. He's just pacing around awkwardly in the living room, watching everyone eat their breakfast. He said it was the strangest thing that he's ever experienced in his life at a friend's house.
Yeah, what's the deal here?
At this point, he's ready to go home, right? I mean, wouldn't you be? He asked the dad, hey, can I borrow your phone to call my mom to pick me up? But he refused. The dad is like, give me the phone number. Give me the phone number. And he dialed it himself and told Ben's mom, hey, your son is ready to be picked up. He wouldn't let him use the phone to talk to his own mom. The whole thing is bizarre.
Yeah, what's going on?
Afterwards, his mom picks him up and they drive to McDonald's and he's just literally scarfing down all the food. He's like just eating everything, hyperventilating. And his mom's like, why are you so hungry? What'd you do today? Well, I didn't eat dinner. Why didn't you eat dinner? I didn't eat breakfast either. So now she's pissed. And they're just pissed together, but they don't do anything about it. And Ben just said he could not be this kid's friend afterwards. He just felt really hurt by the whole situation. I mean, the whole thing is weird. They live in this super nice area. They're upper class. I mean, what kind of business is this? So a lot of people commented, right? I mean, of course, you're going to get the normal comments of like, what if they weren't doing well at that time, right?
Just
no.
give them a piece of bread.
Exactly. Do you know how many sleepovers I've had where we ate chips and peanut butter and jam and it was the best time of my life, okay? You don't need to make a nice dinner. Second of all, if you're going through a hard time, I get it. Maybe you don't have, money for extra food and extra expenses. Then don't let your kid have someone sleep over.
Yeah, and starve them?
Yeah, and starve a kid because that is so irresponsible.
Maybe he does. Oh, I know why.
Why?
I know why.
Why?
Oh, I know exactly why.
Why?
If our kid is so annoying,
yes,
keep wanting to invite kids over. What do you mean?
Honey, we're not going to be terrorizing our kids' friends so we can teach our kid a lesson.
I mean, isn't that the best way?
No, he's kidding to the Karens out there. He's kidding. You had people arguing that they weren't financially doing well. I don't believe in that. If they're not financially doing well, they're horrible people. That's really rude. You don't starve a kid because you're not doing well. But some people said that maybe the dad is really cheap. Think about it. He doesn't even want to spend money on keeping his own family warm. There's no way that he's going to be feeding a stranger's kid.
But why are you keeping them cold at night?
Because he doesn't want to turn on the heat because he's that stingy.
Give them an extra piece of blanket. That doesn't cost money.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to wash it though. Because you gotta wash it after someone uses your blanket.
Then why don't he let him talk on the phone?
Because maybe he's gonna talk too long.
I don't know. See, this to me sounds more like evil intended than being cheap.
It does feel premeditated, but also being cheap, why have Coke and lemonade? Those are expensive things. Like usually if you're trying to cut back on money or maybe if you're a little bit stingy, you're not going to have bottled beverages. You're going to have like filtered water, maybe not even filtered water, right? Which is fine. And then people are saying maybe he lives in this really nice house, but he never spends money on other things that don't show off his wealth. So like people that are house rich, have you guys heard of that term where we have a term in Korean where maybe you have this amazing, beautiful house on the outside, but you go in, it's not decorated, there's like no furniture. It's like you're spending too much money on your mortgage, so you can't actually provide a cozy home for your family. Now, some people imply that maybe this guy is house rich, but that means he cares a lot about his image. And if he cared about his image, would he starve a kid? Because, I mean, that's going to destroy your image. It's just really weird. The whole thing is weird. And then I read this other story about a woman named Dawn who was like, I relate to this feeling so much. She is an older woman, so she's like married, she has a job and everything. It has nothing to do with kids. But she goes on this double date with an old friend of hers from back from college days. And this guy is now working in IT. He's making a lot of money. I mean, I would say that he's making enough money. This is pertinent to the story. Now, anytime I do these stories, I feel like people are always in the comments, but what if his mom was dying of cancer and he was paying for the medical treatments and then he really was in debt because of the cancer, and then what if his dad had just passed away and he had to pay for the funeral? And it's like, okay, but just listen to the story. Just take it at face value. If there were these details that we needed to know, I'm sure Dawn would have told us, okay?
It's like the saying that if you can't afford to pay the tips, then don't eat out.
Did you know people got mad at me? This was like a year or two ago. I said that in a video and people dragged me in the comments. Like, I want to say like 3 people. But they went in on me. So I was so traumatized. I think I don't know what I did. I think I never talked about it again. I don't even think I brought it up to you. It was traumatizing. I said, especially in the United States where you have to tip. So in Korea, you don't have to tip. Like, it's weird if you tip. Mm-hmm. So if you can just afford your meal, you go and you eat your food, even if there's a server, even if there's a hostess, because they get paid their wages from the restaurant. In the United States, the restaurant pays servers $2 an hour. You know who can live on $2 an hour? Absolutely freaking no one. So they rely on tips. If you can't afford the tip, you shouldn't be going to the restaurant. You can do takeout. Mm-hmm. If you just have enough to cover the food, do takeout. Mm-hmm. Because you're paying for the experience of the restaurant. Well, guess what? Someone's working really hard to give you that experience.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that the owner should be paying the servers, but that's not the world we live in. So you still got a tip. But people got mad at me. They were like, so I should be deprived of this experience just because I can't pay tip? And I was like, precisely. No. Exactly what I said. I'm glad that you have comprehension skills. Now, this is not to say, like, if you have bad service or, like, a racist server, you need to tip them. I'm saying, like, for really good service, you need to tip. Anyways, Dawn goes to this place, and everybody agreed on it. It wasn't like Dawn was like, ooh, I want to try this new for money sign Yelp restaurant with, like, the coolest steak. It was a fast casual place. It's not fancy. I would put it on par with not even a Chili's, maybe even a little bit cheaper, like one step above Chipotle, but not as expensive as Chili's, because Chili's can get kind of pricey. They sit down, and this guy brings his girlfriend that she's never met before, and he makes her split an entree with him. Okay? Maybe they're not that hungry. Maybe they're on a diet. We don't know their food preferences. But he would not let her order a side salad. She's like, oh, I want a side salad. He's like, no, you don't need a side salad. It's just lettuce anyway. So Dawn is watching this with her husband. Okay, that's weird. Well,
wait, they're dating, right?
No, this is Dawn's friend. So he's dating a girl, and Dawn and her husband are here.
Oh, yeah.
So he's splitting with his girlfriend.
Yeah, so he's being really cheap to the girlfriend.
And it's just weird. And Dawn's like, okay, well, I'm going to get my own entree. My husband's going to get his own entree. And you know what? I'll pay for an appetizer for us to share. Mm-hmm. So she orders an appetizer for everyone. And then the dessert menu comes. And the girlfriend, the IT guy's girlfriend, is like, oh, I kind of want some dessert. And he's like, oh, no, you don't need dessert.
So was it awkward?
Yeah. So Dawn is like, I want dessert. Well, I'll split a dessert with you because I can't finish the dessert. So I'll order the dessert. Uh-huh. Dawn orders the dessert. So she covered the entree or the appetizer and the dessert, which she's not even like arguing about any of this. This is not the part that she's mad about. They go to pay the check. So again, this is super fast casual. Like the check doesn't even come to you. You go and you pay the cash to the server for the exact change, right? Mm-hmm. And this IT guy goes, pays in cash, with exact change, tips nothing. And Dawn is behind him like, what the fuck? Because they did get some service. You know, the food was brought out to them. They were seated. Now, Dawn is using her credit card, but she leaves a cash tip on the table. So as she's walking out, she puts the cash tip on the table. Mm-hmm. And after they all leave, they're all outside, and Dawn's like, oh, shoot, let me go use the restroom. And the IT guy is like, oh, yeah, I need to use the restroom too.
No.
So she runs to the restroom. And as she comes out, she sees in the corner of her eye, the IT guy grabbing her cash tip off the table and pocketing it.
Oh my God, that's too much.
Pocketing the tip as she's walking away. And she's like, what did I just freaking
He's
see?
just taking away the server's money.
Exactly.
He's stealing server's money.
Yeah. And so Donna goes outside and she mentions, when I walked by our table, the cash tip was gone, but the table is untouched. Usually the server will come and grab a couple of things and they take the cash tip and then they'll come back and clean the rest. But I wonder if another patron stole it. So she's not calling him out, but she's kind of making it uncomfortable. She's trying to get his reaction. She freaking knew that he took it, but he said nothing. He said nothing. He acted so normal. There wasn't even a bead of sweat dripping down his forehead.
Said, oh, then should you go tip some more?
Ooh, I gotta use the restroom again. He's like, yeah, you don't want the server to be mad at you. You should go. So she runs back in there after everybody leaves. She's like, okay, goodbye. They go into their car. She runs back in there, finds the server, tips not only for her bill, for the IT guy's bill too. Because he probably paid no tip, let's be real. I mean, who does that?
That's bad.
Like I said, the guy is doing fine financially.
That's like biggest red flag.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but do you know how often this happens?
To what, servers?
No. I knew someone who knew someone that did this. And actually, a lot of people on Reddit said that they knew someone that does this. So I'm sure it happens a lot more. They don't steal tips. But one person, so if you've got a big party and everybody is splitting the check, right? Which I feel like doesn't happen as often now, but maybe I just don't have enough friends. Like, I'm sure it still happens, but usually it's just like us and like another couple, right? But if you've got 8 separate people and they're not couples, they're all paying individually, rather than having the waitress or the server do every single one individually, because that's a lot of work, what they'll do is they'll just grab the one receipt and just split it in 8, and then everybody either gives cash or Venmos.
Yeah.
But there will be someone who will be in charge of the receipt. Take it. And they'll calculate it. But they'll over-calculate.
No.
So that everybody else pays a little bit more and they can pay a little bit less and they'll have their own tip covered.
That's so
shady.
I mean, I feel like that's also very easy to catch.
Yes, and people caught on, and they would start calling out the person, like, okay, so do the math. Like, wait, let me see the receipt.
That's
Listen,
just
I cannot be friends with people like that. I cannot. And I tell you this before people come for us, it's always the people who are doing great. It's always the people that have Chanel bags, Louis Vuitton purses, Because if you're my friend and I know you're going through a hard time, you're not paying. Like, I'm paying for you. There's none of this, like, pressure of, like, oh, God, I can't pay the tip. No, like, I'm paying for you, right? But when I know you're doing fine and you're going out drinking all the time, buying these bags, and you drive a nice car and you're spending a lot of money on other things and you don't pay tipping, it's crazy.
No.
Now, this is the story that I saved for last. This is actually the whole reason this video came about, because I couldn't get this story out of my head. The knife story. This post was removed from Reddit, but like everything else online, it has been cemented in history. Am I mad about it? Okay, maybe I'm a little bit mad about it because the visuals, the descriptions. Listen, if I have to see this in my head, you have to see it now. Let's call OP Poopy Peter. His name is Peter now. Peter starts off by saying, and this shook me to the core. He starts off by saying, my family poops big. Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's our diet, but everyone births giant logs of crap. Really, you gotta, right now, while I'm, no!
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Honey, he said that everybody in his family poops big. You really can eat that right now while I'm talking about it. And everybody lays a mega poop. To the point where sometimes it won't flush. He says it lays across the drain hole.
Oh, man.
And just spins around when you try to flush it. It just won't go in. Almost as if it's mocking you. As if it's taunting you. As if it's laughing at you. Anyway, growing up, Peter's family had this problem. To the point where they had a poop knife. Okay, let Peter explain. It's this old rusty kitchen knife that they hang in the laundry room. And it's only used to chop poop.
Ew.
It would be normal for them to walk around the house and hear someone scream from the bathroom, hey, can you give me the poop knife? So it became a poop knife of sorts, a poop kit. Sometimes you poop, you have your kit ready. You got your plunger, your toilet brush, and your poop knife. So he's living in this reality where he just grabs the poop knife from the laundry room, gives it to his brother, and his brother will cut the poop.
Why don't they just keep it in the toilet room?
Oh, because they have 3 restrooms, and for some reason they didn't want to have 3 separate poop knives. So this was
Disgusting.
central to the...
You're gonna transport the knife? Like, at least get your own knife. You know what I mean?
So this was central to all of the restrooms. It's a poop knife. Now, Peter is completely living in this reality where this is the norm. Now, fast forward to 22-year-old Peter. Okay, naive little poopy Peter, thinking everybody's got a poop knife, even at 22 years old. And it was a day or two between bathroom poops. And he goes over to his friend's house. And a lot of his friends were there. It's actually his plug's house. That's what he said. It was his weed dealer. Goes over there. Everybody's smoking the weed because how do you buy weed without smoking it first,
house.
you know? So he excuses himself to push pee, use the restroom. And he lays this big poop, a big one, he said. And I quote, "I laid a gigantic turd." And he gets up and he looks down at the damage and he's like, "Oh yeah, no babes, this ain't gonna work. It's not gonna flush." So he opens the door and he says, "Hey buddy, can I get your poop knife?" My what? Give me your poop knife. What the fuck is a poop knife? Instead of thinking, oh yeah, okay, this isn't normal. People don't have poop knives. Peter thinks, oh shit, every family calls things differently, you know? Mm-hmm. So he's like, what do you guys call it? Like a fecal cleaver, a dung divider, a poop scissor maybe, a poop axe, the excrement extremist, or what? And he just tells them, you know, give me the thing that you use to cut your poop so it flushes. And Peter's friend just starts busting out laughing, like, what are you saying? Everybody else, because the music had died down, they heard him screaming about the poop knife. And they start crawling on the floor, laughing, tears out of their eyes. As it turns out, Peter did not know that none of them have a poop knife. It just runs in his family. And this was posted on Today I Fucked Up by thinking everybody has a poop knife.
Do you think this is real?
I think so.
I don't know.
Because
I find it very...
there was a lot of Reddit comments that said, oh, we have a poop knife. What? And they would say, but we never talk about it. Like, I know, like the comments were saying, I know that nobody uses it, but I have a poop knife. And I'm glad to know that there's a couple other people out there that have poop knives.
I don't understand. How do you clean it?
Yeah, I guess you don't. Ew, do you run it underwater in the sink? Because that would be the worst way. That'd be the worst way. And then you drop your toothbrush in the sink.
The knife's gotta be really long, right? Imagine just a regular sized knife.
And this was years ago, right? This was when Peter was 22. And now he decides to tell Reddit because he had recently told his wife, thinking it was comical. Like, oh my God, one time I went to my plug's house and I went to go push pee and then this happened and then they didn't have a poop knife. Now, don't get me wrong. She was amused. But at the same time, she was horrified. And she asked him, do you still have a poop knife? Yeah.
I'm sure he does.
It's in the utility closet. Which one? Oh, the like utility knife, the one that like slides in and out in the utility closet.
Oh, fuck.
And she's like, what the fuck? I use that to open boxes. And she almost gagged. She almost threw up. And he promised to buy her a new utility knife, but she was pissed. Because it's like, if you have a poop knife, why didn't you tell me? But I think at that point, he had already gone through the embarrassment of telling people that he has a poop knife. And he probably thought, when is my wife ever going to use the utility room utility knife? And he just kept his poop knife in there.
What if that's us?
Bro, what do you mean? What if you have a poop knife?
What if the knife you've been using every day is my poop knife?
Wait, you mean my butter knife?
Your butter knife is my poop knife.
And
tell
never
them
think about it.
our breakfast.
Oh my God, I don't even want to say it. I'm boycotting blackberries. I get it. I was trying to be like healthy. And I bought these organic fruits. And I'm like, okay, from now on, I'm only eating organic fruit. Okay, so I buy the organic blackberries. My mom rinses them. I'm talking vinegar and salt because my mom was at our old house when we did the strawberry test with the salt and the strawberries and the worms came out. So now my mom's so paranoid about fruit. It's been like a year. She's traumatized. Just PTSD. So she's washing it with vinegar, with salt, everything. Berries, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, right? And she puts them all on a plate for us. Tiffany came over that day too. So we're all eating breakfast. We got berries all over our plate with our little toast. And Tiffany looks down and she starts screaming in Mandarin.
Scream crying
in Mandarin. And I know for a fact, because she's such a considerate person, the only time she speaks in Mandarin when I'm there is when some it's going down. Like when she sees a raccoon staring at her in the backyard. Okay, like something is terrifying this girl to scream, cry in Mandarin. So I look over and she's looking down at her plate and I'm like, oh my God, no, not another spider, because she almost ate a spider at our house from organic berries.
Strawberries.
Oh
my God.
And we looked down and the blackberries had these little worms.
They're not worms.
What are they?
They look like ticks.
Yes.
They were jumping.
They're jumping, but they're so small.
They're so big. They're literally like the size of ticks.
But I don't see legs or anything.
Yeah, they're just jumping around.
They look like sesame seeds jumping.
Way smaller. Smaller.
It is so itchy.
And they were just kind of jumping on her plate.
Yes.
But I guess like they're so small that I don't think your mom can see it. That's how tiny they are.
So we look at the...
And she was like crying like, what is this? What is this?
And she's like washing her mouth out. And we go to the plate where all the blackberries are now. And the entire plate. But I don't even think it's the fact that it's organic, because I Googled it and people are like, you know what? Seeing bugs in your fruit and your vegetables is a good sign, because, that means there's no pesticides. Yeah. But I definitely think it was the grocery store that I bought it from.
Yeah, I think it's just one or two was infested.
Yeah, because I've never experienced that level of... just the whole plate was covered in it. It was so disgusting. I'm so itchy right now. I feel like it's everywhere. So, poop knife. I mean, I would want to know. And why did the family share a poop knife? You can't even clean a poop knife. Some people were saying, we think that there's a market for this.
Yeah, somebody should invent this then.
In the capitalistic world, we gotta have some disposable poop knives, or some sort of self-cleaning poop knives, right?
Or there's gotta be a better pooping system.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe you poop and it just sucks it directly into your backyard and it becomes soil.
Compost.
Exactly, compost. Did you know my dad will go to like farms to collect chicken poop? It's great for that's the cycle of life.
Oh, and then this reminded me of the mortifying Reddit story. Okay, this is about the girl who used a restroom at her crush's house. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna get all the poop stories at this point because, we're in too deep. There's no going back. The toilet is not flushing. I nearly died at this one. This one went viral years ago. This is the story of how she ended up with a piece of poop in her purse. Her name is Michaela, and she shared her story on Twitter. So she said that she went on this date with this guy, and wow, things were going well. They head back to his place, if you know what I'm saying. And, being the self-confident, normal, self-assured woman, she's thinking pooping is a natural process. What's the point of dating a guy if he's going to be icked out by poop on the first date? So she's like, can I use your restroom? She goes to take a poop, but it was a huge, huge, fatal error. The toilet was weak. You can just tell. I can tell. I walk into your house, I can take one look at your toilet, and I can decide I can't poop here because I know it's not going to flush. Some people have the weakest toilets where even when I pee, I'm like, really? You're not going down? Do these people not poop that live here? It's weird. I can take one look. They all look the same. This was one of those toilets. It wasn't flushing properly. So she's panicked. The poop's not going down. She doesn't know what to do. She realizes she's been in the bathroom for too long and now he's going to be confused and now he's asking questions and the whole thing is sketch as fuck. So she's thinking, fuck, what do I do? Looks down. Sees that it's just one single piece of poop, It's not a pile. It's not multiple. It's just one piece of poop. And in that moment, she said something just came over her. She knew what she had to do.
No.
She got the toilet paper. She removed the poop. Which, you gotta get your hand wet in some poop water.
No!
And once that was done, she realized she didn't have another plan. She can't drop an entire piece of poop in the the trash can because it's gonna smell. So what does she do? What do I do with it? She can't leave it there. Now she's wasting more time. And this led her to spiral into the series of decisions that she made. And she wrapped it up in multiple layers of toilet paper and she threw it in her purse.
There's no way you can trap the smell of that. No way.
And she goes back down to sit on the couch with him. And they're making out.
Oh my God.
But truly, she can't have a normal night. She can't just make out with the guy. All she can think about now is the poop in her purse. And so in a little downtime, she freaks out. She texts her sister and says, I got poop in my purse. What do I do?
Why can't she leave?
Because she likes the guy, you know, and she doesn't want to be weird.
Dude.
And she's like, what if he can smell it? What if he can do this? Like, it's just like my purse is 10 feet away from me and there's just poop in there and I can't think about anything else. And her sister says, well, just go outside. Pretend you're going out to smoke and just throw it out or something. Okay, maybe I'll do that, right? Oh, I saw a window outside this guy's bathroom. I'll throw it out there.
She should have threw it out a long time ago.
She's like, I'll throw it out the window. But she can't look at him in the face right now, right? So all she can think about is the poop. Is it going to fall out of her purse? Is it going to smell, you know? So for a few hours, she tries to distract herself. Then she hears him flush the toilet. She's like, okay, maybe I don't need to throw it out the window. Maybe this is my chance. She runs into the bathroom, unwraps the poop, throws it into the toilet, prays to God. And by the grace of God and water pressure, it worked. The poop flushed. She was in the clear. Everything was going to be okay. And she said it was the most wild night of her dreams. This man sat there telling her that she is the most amazing woman ever, not knowing 10 feet away in her purse was her very own poop that she had fished out of his toilet.
She flushed it?
That's the story. And she said, you know, she posted it. She did not think it was going to go viral. She had like, you know, I want to say maybe a couple hundred followers on Twitter. And she said that she spent her entire life branding herself to be a hot girl. And now she's just the poop girl. All because of one tiny little poop story.
There was a girl.
Yes.
I think I told you this story. Someone was like in school. She was like, just for some reason, she keeps smelling nasty smells. Do you remember this? She's like, oh my God, like what smells so bad? Did someone fart? She just looks around. Nobody's around. And she's like checking herself. No, like I didn't fart. Like what is that stinky smell? All day. And then she goes to the library. Still smells it. She goes to cafeteria. Still smells it.
Oh no, it's her. When it follows you, it's you.
She just couldn't, like, and even her friends, when they're eating lunch, they were like, what is that smell? But nobody could figure it out. And then that night when she got home, she realized she pooped that day. And there was like a piece, like maybe the size of a grain of rice, sticked on her hair.
How did it get there?
Maybe when she's wiping or something, I don't know. And all she can say is like, she was so surprised a grain of rice size can smell this strong.
There was this unnamed woman. This is the last one, okay? And it gets really intense. Firefighters get involved. We're gonna call her Jenny. She is an amateur gymnast of sorts, which is kind of pertinent to the story later. She went out on Tinder and she found a date with this guy named Liam, and the date was good. They hit it off. They even went back to his place after to hang out. They're listening to music, you know, smooching here and there, rubbing up on each other. And for the first hour, everything's going well. Like, it seems like they're gonna get married at this point. I don't know how dating works, okay? But she excuses herself to go use the restroom. And she's gone for a while. Now, this is told from Leon's perspective. He says that she's gone for a while. She comes back out, and she had this look of panic in her eyes. Sheer panic. It was like animalistic panic. And she looks at him and she just says, I gotta tell you, I took a poop and it wouldn't flush. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I get it. It's embarrassing, but that's okay. But that's not it. I panicked and I don't know why I did this, but I reached into the toilet and I picked up the poop and I wrapped it in tissue paper and I threw it out the window. And now Liam, the good man that he is, he's obviously a little bit confused. Why did you do that? But he said, it's okay. It's okay, don't worry about it. I can go outside and grab the poop and we can throw it away and forget that any of this happened. And then it dawned on him. Which bathroom did you use? The powder room? So that window, this is like a weird, it was a special window. It was an architectural design flaw, an interior design nightmare. But the window in the bathroom, if you open it, there's about a foot and a half feet gap. And then there's another window that's non-opening. So it's like dual pan windows, but neither of them open for no reason at all. So the only way to get the poop out, because you can't just leave it in there, is to open the window from the bathroom side, but it only opens this much from the top. And to reach in there and grab it. But imagine how difficult that is because the window itself is already lifted up high. So he's got her on his shoulders.
Wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, so this is the first window. This is right next to the toilet. And it's pretty high up. So if the toilet is here, it's high.
Yeah.
It only opens at the top this much.
Yeah.
This
and
much,
outside
okay?
of that?
And then there's like a 1 foot gap here.
What's
and
in
then
there?
another window, just blank space. There's an architectural flaw.
So, okay. So
Not a well-made house.
the poop is just chilling in between,
Yes.
in the gap.
Yes, and they can't just leave it there. And this one is real because there's pictures of the whole ordeal. There's pictures of the whole ordeal online. Okay?
Gosh, there's how many people are throwing poop? Like, how many people are picking poop out of the toilet bowl and throwing it out the window? Gosh, is that a common practice?
Listen, what would you do if you went... Imagine, this is the man of your dreams. Imagine you went to Harry Styles' house. You went to Jungkook's house. You went to Jimin's house.
And they're throwing poop out the window.
No!
You bring your poop knife.
It's like one of those retractable knives
Yeah.
that fold open.
Yeah.
In your purse, you just take it out.
Yeah?
No, but I think I would throw it out the window. I think it really depends. Like, I think I'm too paranoid and anxious. It's not even about BTS, okay? If I were at a job interview and I pooped in my potential boss's office, I'm throwing it out the window. I'm getting the job. So anyway, so they're trying to reach in, grab the poop, but neither of them can reach it. It's just not working. Now, Jenny, being the amateur gymnast and very frustrated with this and embarrassed, she feels the responsibility of getting this poop out. So she tells him, just give me a boost. Give me a boost. I'm going to go head in into this tiny 1.5 feet inch gap, 1.5 foot gap. Head in, grab the poop. I'll pass it to you, NFL style. You grab my legs and my hips and pull me out the window. She grabs the poop. She brings like a doggy waste bag, wraps it up in the waste bag, throws it out. He grabs it, trashes it. He's pulling on her legs, pulling on her waist. Nothing. Stuck upside down. Nothing was getting out.
So this is one of those.
So they had to call the firefighter.
Oh, I gotta say, step bro.
What are you doing, step bro?
I'm stuck. Is it like that?
Yeah, why do you know this line?
You say this line.
So they call the firefighters and they rescue her. The fire squad was so annoyed by this, they fined them $400 for the inconvenience. It is not a fire. It is not a life-threatening situation. They told the firefighters everything. And then the window was cracked and it had to be shattered. They had to get it fixed. So that's why this story came to be. He put it in his GoFundMe with all the proof and all the pictures. And everybody donated. It was about $400. He made about $1,200. They donated the rest to a charity that provides flushing toilets to underserved areas. And they had already gone on their second date.
Huh.
So I hope they get married. Clogging a toilet is one thing. I think I would still be attracted to you. Throwing your poop out the window and getting caught is another thing. I don't know if I would be attracted to you afterwards. Imagine you're dating this person and you guys get into a fight. I'd be like, don't fucking raise your voice with me, you stupid. Don't you dare talk to me like that. You threw your shit out the window, you idiot. But they seem to be hitting it off. What are your thoughts on this? What would you do? Would you rather be the one throwing the poop out the toilet or knowing that someone that you were hitting it off with just threw their poop out your window?
Yeah, I just know I'm not putting my hand in that water.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, my sister dropped her phone in many toilets.
Oh yeah, your mom too.
Yeah, my family's specialty is to drop their phone in toilets. You might need some therapy after this one. Make sure to check out betterhelp.com/StephanieSue. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.